Welcome to Ducks on the Pod, a baseball podcast with your hosts, Matt Welker and Jake Mosley. So we'll be drinking the moment. Count us in.
You're looking down.
All right, well, I'm going. Welcome back, everybody, to Ducks on the Pod. Hopefully everybody enjoyed all the preview episodes, which today technically is still a preview episode, Jacob. We're doing predictions today, both awards. We kind of already said what we think each division is going to pan out to be, but here's today. We plant our flags. We're recording this the night before opening day, but going to be releasing this day of. So this is official. We're putting it on record. How do you feel about your picks?
Pretty good. Things have changed a little bit.
Same. I'm glad you said that because it's been the same for me.
And I don't know. I think going through the divisions, like it's easy to have a microscope on it, but then when you think about like the whole league as a whole, your outlook changes a little bit. So excited to see what you think. I don't know if you can hear my dog going crazy right now. He's got the cone on his head and he's trying to say hi.
Hi, Clarky. I started hearing it, and then I saw the shadow on your picture in the background, so he must have hit the door.
Yeah, he's got some allergies, so he's got the cone on his head. So apologies for any background noise.
Cubs name, Clark.
Yeah, I got my Cubs jersey on, too. Ready to go. Ready for the season.
I love it, man. I'm so excited for tomorrow. And this bum that's right here isn't joining me tomorrow at the Reds opening day, even though his team doesn't play till 10 p.m. You know, we don't get paid enough to do this yet with like 5 viewers, so we still have to have full-time jobs. And I have to work tomorrow. The company doesn't run without me.
Well, that's not true.
You sure seem like that's what you mean.
There's nobody. Okay, we're not going to get into it. This is my break. I have to go back to work after this.
Okay. What are you working in the mines? Anyway, let's get this ripping and rolling so that we don't have another 2.5 hour episode like we did for the NL Central. All right.
Yeah, we'll try to move quick.
I'm going to let you pick. I'm going to let you take honors both in picking what we talk about first, and I'll let you do the talking first.
All right. Let's start with the AL. Who do we start first division preview with? AL West?
Yeah, but you want to do divisions first? I was thinking we do awards first. Although I said
no. We're doing over-unders on every team first.
Okay. Fine.
All right, and we're doing the AL West.
All right.
So
read all 5 and then go into it.
Yeah, so we have a tie at the top for over-unders, most wins with both the Texas teams. So Houston and the Rangers at 86.5. Seattle, 1 game less at 85.5. Fourth is the Angels at 72.5. And then the Athletics of no destination this year is 71.5. So really 3 teams up top and then a 13 or so game gap to the Angels and the Athletics.
I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. Do we just let it rip, even though it might sound confusing?
I think we just say Houston over, under 86.5, count it down, and you say over, I say under, or whatever it may be. And
all right. We should do it like that for sure for the next divisions because that will make more sense. And then don't read all 5 and just let it rip. But this one, since we already started, let's just do it.
We could just,
Houston, 86.5.
3, 2, 1, under.
Ding, ding,
all right. Ding. No discussion needed there, huh?
No. All right. I'll try to keep track of these unless you already are. All right, cool. We'll keep each other's work. All right. Rangers, 86.5. 3, 2, 1, over.
Over. All right. Are we going to agree on all of these?
We'll see. Seattle, 85.5. 3, 2, 1, under.
Under. All right. 3 for 3, Matt.
Angels, 72.5.
3, 2, 1,
Under.
over.
Ooh.
All right. Okay, so why do you think under?
I think Seattle's pitching's too good. The Rangers' offense is too good, and the Astros are the Astros. So I think those three are going to play well against the Angels, and I think Oakland. I'm going to call them Oakland. This is a preview for my next pick, so we don't even need to count it down. But I think Oakland's a lot better than everybody thinks that they are, and I think they're honestly could finish higher up in this division than dead last. Which by that I mean I think they could finish top 3, maybe top 2. So
crazy. Okay, love it. I have over on Angels. This is because I think Mike Trout is still one of the best players in baseball when healthy, and they still have a couple other pieces. Taylor Ward. So
love Taylor.
I think, I think they'll have enough offense to beat 72.5. Like I don't even think they get to 500 by any means. Like I don't think they're a contender, but I think that a healthy Mike Trout is always on a team better than 72.5.
Yeah. So one thing that I was going through when I was making my determinations here is like I feel like I agree with Vegas on the vast majority of all these numbers. There's some teams that I like vehemently disagree on, but like Angels, I'm saying under, but I think it's like 70.
Right.
Which is barely under, obviously, 72.5.
Right.
All right, so in Oakland, do you agree with me over Sacramento?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
I do.
So we're four for 5.
They didn't have too much young talent.
Yeah.
All right. And one division down.
Yes. Central.
Let's do AL Central.
Let's just go team by team because it doesn't make sense to read them all and then go back. Minnesota, 84.5. 3, 2, 1, over.
Under.
Ooh. I knew you were going to say under. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you did. Yeah, I don't have much confidence in them. I also think there's a chance Byron Buxton gets traded, by the way. If they aren't performing well.
He doesn't play 120 games like he never does.
Also true.
We should probably also say our official. No, we'll go into that later. Never mind. I was going to say our official division, like our playoff teams, but we'll just do that here in a second. Detroit, 83.5. 3, 2, 1, over.
Over. All right.
Our timings are going to be so off.
That's just
that's one that I kind of
team that
on.
I'm happy you did too, because that's one of the teams that I think their projection is significantly under.
I wouldn't say significant. I think they're going to win like 85 or 86, but
yeah, the issue is there's 4 teams in this division who are all projected
that all are going to win 85
of each other. So yeah, I think odds are one team ends up standing out a little bit more. I don't think Vegas knows, which is why they were all together. I think that team's Detroit.
Oh, yeah. The odds for the division are in the order that we're about to go in. 210, 230, 290, 310. Like,
yeah,
that's
correct.
For all intents and purposes equal.
The White Sox are in AAA.
Yeah. So Detroit, after just looking into their lineup, or not their lineup, but they're pitching a little bit more,
they're good.
I swung it a little bit and just.
Jackson Jobe's up, by the way, as well.
Yeah, that's another reason as well, which maybe I'll get into later.
Okay.
All right, Cleveland, 82.5. I'll let you count it down because I keep doing it.
3, 2, 1,
under.
Over. I knew you were going to go under there. I just have faith in that organization more than anything. Plus, they just got Nolan Jones the other day. I've always been a big Nolan Jones fan. So
you have been a Nolan Jones fan.
Yeah, I think that's just icing on the cake. I think Minnesota, I know you have over on Minnesota, not to double back too far, but I don't think Minnesota gets close to 84.5. Right, I think they might be one of the more overrated teams. So I think Cleveland and Detroit are the main beneficiaries.
I think Minnesota is very top heavy, but like a couple injuries and they're just screwed. But
Royce Lewis is already hurt.
Yeah, but I think he's relatively fine. He's not 100%, but I don't think he's on an extended stint by any means.
No, it's
All
muscle.
right. Moving on, tied with the guards, the Royals at 82.5. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, under.
Over.
Oh man, we disagreed on 3 of the 4 here.
I know.
I'm curious if we agree on the last one.
Wait, no, I have us agreeing on 2 of them. Detroit and Cleveland overs. Did I
Oh,
get something wrong?
I colored Minnesota on accident.
Okay.
Might be. All right, White Sox 54.5. That is a wildly
Uh,
low.
Sorry, before you get there, under on KC for you. Is it just a factor of you taking the over in
The
Minnesota,
last,
Detroit, and Cleveland?
yes, but also the rest of their lineup fucking sucks outside of Bobby Witt.
Yeah, I
India
don't have
will.
much faith in
It
the
appears
lineup.
that India is doing great, and I think he will, especially with having Witt right behind him. Like I think he's going to be DHing and hitting first for them with Witt right behind him. But there's never been a doubt in India's bat. He just sucks in the field, so it's hard to.
Yeah.
And he's not built like a DH, so it's hard to justify him on a team.
So I like the over for Kansas City because I think they have 2 of the best players in baseball, and Bobby Witt, and then on the pitching staff, Cole
God,
Reagans.
you love Cole Reagans.
I do,
Wait,
yeah.
rightfully
Get more
so,
into
by the
that
way.
too. He's good.
Yeah, you took him very early in our fantasy draft.
Fantasy draft, yeah. That's
By
very
that,
low.
I
I
mean
wanted him.
probably like 10 picks too high, but like it was like the second round.
I had a wrap around, so yeah, he was going to be gone by the time I picked next. So
Yeah. All right, White Sox. Lowest projected total at 54.5. Tres, dos, uno, over.
under.
Ooh.
All right, so we're all over the place on this one.
The only reason I say over is because 54.5 is so little.
Yeah.
And like the rest of their division isn't good. So I know they weren't
Trust
last
me,
year either. I get that. But like it's insanely hard to win 42 games.
I agree.
Like I don't think they're 13 games better by additions or addition by subtraction, but like just by baseball
They're
regression, they got to be better.
actually probably a worse team than they were last year because they don't have
But
Gary Burchett.
but that's the thing. They're like I still think just by it being the game of baseball, they're going to be better than that.
Yeah, I hear you. It's tough to argue that because they were so bad, it's hard to repeat that bad. But
Yeah.
like on paper, I think they might be a worse team, which is
I don't
hysterically
disagree.
funny.
And I wouldn't be surprised if it goes under. It's just I refuse to believe that they put up 40 plus win seasons back to back. Like only 40, I mean. Like their number starts with a 4.
Yeah.
Let's get,
Long season ahead.
yeah. All right. So why do I keep coloring cells on accident? So we only agreed on 2, right?
Yeah. Let me double check. I moved on already. That was a quick yes. Correct. Yeah.
Wait.
Detroit and Cleveland. You don't have to keep track of this. I got it.
No,
all.
I said Cleveland under.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's why I was confused.
Okay. Yeah, we only agreed on 1 then. The Detroit over. I'm glad you came to my side. That's the one I really cared about, to be honest with you.
I still don't think they're that good, but I think they're
that's fine. I got you
better
to the
than
over.
the 4, or I think they're better than the other 2.
Fair. All right, on to the East.
All right. The Yankees, 88.5. I think we're actually going to disagree a lot here.
Okay. That's it.
Like this 5, I mean. All right, 88.5. Let's go a 3, a 2, a 1, under.
Over. Yep. All right.
I've made a turn on the Yankees. What is going on with my mouse?
Why don't you like them?
It's just, as I look at it more and more, they're just not a very good team. Like,
is there a certain weakness that they have that has caught your eye?
Their entire lineup outside of Judge, I don't know what just happened to my mouse, but my sensitivity is crazy. And they've lost 2 of their main pitchers for like the vast majority of the season.
Yeah. I hear you.
I don't know if you're going to
It's a
be
good point. If there's
rest.
the Yankees are the hardest team, I think. I had to pick for that exact reason. Like I feel like they should be really, really good because of the Yankees, and they have been good. And Aaron Judge is one of the best players in the game. So I feel like somehow they figure out a way. But yeah, the path to getting there seems a lot more murky than it did a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. So let me at least say and give a small spoiler. I do still have them making the wild card. I just don't think they're going to win 89 games.
Okay. Yeah. I'm
Like
over on
they're
them mostly because you know my thoughts on Cody Bellinger. I think Cody Bellinger in Yankee Stadium is a good match. I think he's still really good. So I'm probably a lot higher on the supporting pieces to Aaron Judge than you are. And Cody Bellinger is a big aspect of that. I think Volpe's good. He's been showing more power. So
yeah.
I have
Like
less concerns about the lineup. So I think they still get there.
I agree they still get there. I just don't think they're going to win close to 90 games.
Right.
And
Well, I might get
set at
there.
88 and a half then.
Yeah. I meant 88.5 is getting there.
Yeah. All right, Boston and Baltimore at 86 and a half. Which one do you want to do first?
You can do Boston.
All right, Biggity Boston. The Bo Sox. 86 and a half. You ready? 3, 2, 1, over.
Under.
I was already high on the Red Sox,
Mm-hmm.
and just from looking that up more and more and just encompassing myself with baseball over the last week, I'm fully on board on the Red Sox train.
Prospect related by chance?
Well, I do love that Christian Campbell has announced that he's staying up. He made the team. I like that Devers got moved to DH. That way Campbell can play. So I would assume I didn't look into what they're doing, but I would assume Bregman's playing third, Campbell's playing second. I'm hoping Devers just swallows his pride and hits the
He said he's
baseball and
willing to
doesn't.
now.
Yeah, but like
Is he?
he said those pretty quick when the reporters asked him. He was pretty. Maybe it was a translation thing. I don't know.
He might have gotten a
but
talking to.
he was very quickly like, "No, I play third.
Yeah.
I play third." Yeah, he definitely got a talking to, and I would think it was maybe by his agent because he's already got a pretty long-term deal. It's like, dude, just play.
You aren't getting anything from this. Yeah, just
No.
get on the field.
Like,
yeah,
play third when you need to, because you're still going to play the field. Like Christian Campbell's not going to play every day, especially if he's not playing well. They're going to give him some time off. He's a young dude making his first time in the bigs. Like unless he comes out just Jackson Merrill style and it's just unreal all season, like he's going to see some days off.
Yeah.
You're going to get your chance to play the field. Just relax. When that time comes, shine.
I have the under on Boston. I think their pitching staff is great. I think their offense, one, we have rookies, which could go either way. Could be fantastic right out of the gate, or it could take a year or 2 or 3 or whatever to stick. So that's an inherent risk in offense. I think Bregman being in Boston is a really good match for Bregman, but I think Bregman is slightly overrated. So I don't think that addition.
Yeah, but he's basically the new fucking.
I know he's an improvement over last year.
Dude, he is outside of Ted Williams, he is the greatest OPS in Fenway history.
That's fine. That's a limited sample. He doesn't play there very often. We'll see.
All right. What are your thoughts on Tyler O'Neill then?
Yeah, great.
Just admit it. You think he's on roids?
I do. Dude, his body is like, it's bigger than his frame's supposed to be under any circumstances. Like he's outgrown his frame.
Speaking of Tyler O'Neill, the Baltimore Orioles, 86 and a half.
Yep.
3, 2, 1, under.
Over. Why don't you like the Orioles?
I do. I just think I think they're probably 86 or 85.
Really?
I don't know. Yeah.
Is it their pitching?
That's definitely part of it.
Okay. I think that's a reasonable thing. I just think
Like
they have so much depth hitting that I don't care about their pitching personally.
I think it's that all 5 teams in their division can compete. So that's
Yeah.
just even more ways to drag them down.
Hmm.
Like the Blue
It's funny
Jays
though because you
are,
aren't worried about the Yankees offense. Assume like you said it's just Aaron Judge, and you don't like the rest of it. So like that should negate at least your pitching concerns for one of the teams, right? I mean, all these teams could compete.
yeah.
Like,
I don't know. Uh, there's something I don't I don't know how to properly explain my thoughts on this.
okay.
I just, for whatever reason, like I am excited about the Orioles in general.
Hmm.
I just don't think they're gonna go
Seems like a big
absolutely
number
nuts
for
this
you.
year. Yeah, just
Okay, interesting.
and that division is what's making me like. By the way,
We couldn't be
my
further
Boston
off then.
my Boston over, I think it's like 87. That's what I'm saying. Like I agree with the vast majority
Yeah,
of these Vegas numbers. I have to pick one way.
I
So
agree. I
like my
think all these lines
Boston's
are
probably
close.
87, my Baltimore's probably 85, but both are making
Yeah,
playoffs.
I think all these lines in this division are tight.
Yeah. I
That's what happens though
legitimately
when you
think
have five good teams. Like,
I think we're gonna
like
disagree in the next two too. So
interesting. Okay. Rays.
just given the way you talked about both of these teams.
Okay.
All right, Rays
I think
80
we
and a
agree on
half.
one of them.
Over under 3,
Eight
2, 1. Under.
under.
Woo! We agree.
I knew we agree on that one. For me, that's just a factor of I think it's top heavy. I think you have three really, really good teams, and then by default, you kind of have to have two teams that underachieve at least. Like the Yankees and Baltimore being over, obviously, I think highly of them. I have Boston as an under, but like hardly.
Yeah.
So somebody's got to
Um
lose games in the division.
yeah. Where'd my sheet go? There it is. All right, so we actually agreed on the Rays. I didn't think we would just because
I knew you didn't
I don't
think
know.
we would.
So I'm curious to see where we go here
Well,
now.
also Shane just got hurt, so who knows?
They said he's
Like,
fine though, right? Like it's a nerve
yeah,
thing, not that he needs TJ.
correct, but
Fine wasn't the right word to use, but not indefinitely out.
worrisome for sure.
Correct. Yeah, but the rest of their line or the rest of their rotation's still sick.
Yeah, they're good.
Pepio, Bradley, Baz, Lytle, Drew Rasmussen, like
Yeah.
they're going to be just fine in that department. Um, yeah, that sucks that McClanahan's hurt again.
Dude, he's so fun to watch pitch too. I really
I
enjoy
know.
watching him pitch.
I hope he gets back here soon. Never mind. I'm not going to bring that up.
Okay. Cool.
It's completely unrelated to pitching, but it is on the Rays. All right, fine. I'll say it. I think it's hysterical that Wander Franco is still listed on the roster resource. Yes, are they still paying him? Yes, I get it, but like he's listed at the restricted list. Yeah,
Never
it
to come
happened
back.
many moons ago.
Yeah. All right.
I just didn't think I'd be mentioning Wander Franco on a 2025 predictions list. All right.
Well, let's wander north of the border.
Oh, nice. That was. All right, Blue Jays 79 and a half. Over under. Ready, go. Over.
Under. I had a feeling you were on the over there.
I for whatever reason like the Blue. I don't think they make the playoffs. I don't hate them this year though, and I legitimately think it's only because it's a Bo and Vladdy Walk here, so they're just going to be like playing their cocks off, and this team's just going to be exciting. I love Santander signing. I don't know why the hell Andres Jimenez is listed as their cleanup hitter right now, but like I love Kirk. George Springer's he's getting up there, but good dude. Ernie Clement can swing it. They're a fun group.
I really like their team. I agree with you. They're fun. I always like watching Jays games for some reason. They're just
It,
an entertaining game. I like their park. I like the culture at Rogers Center. Like watching a home Jays game
the
is a
Roger
blast for
Center.
some reason. Yeah, I love their announcer. Um,
Yeah, like their entire broadcasting crew is great.
yeah, I love them. However, I think they're good. I don't think they're good enough to compete, and Vegas thinks so as well. Just from the fact that they have the lowest implied win total in the division. And therefore, because it's a Vladdy and Bo walk year, I don't see how this team still. It, the odds are too good that this falls apart by the deadline. And then instead of letting these guys walk, you unload them for prospects.
Yeah.
Because that's what I would do if I were in their shoes. You still have the core together, you let it play out for half a year, but you have to be very willing to cut bait.
I just, I don't know. There's something about it, and just, I feel like the vibe around this team every year is like everybody wants them to do well. And I
Yes.
feel like this could be the year they finally do it. And I think
I'm
the
with you for
fans of
hoping that.
Toronto, the fans of Toronto deserve it. So I'm just going to hope that it happens.
Okay.
But I mean,
Yeah, that's
their
good enough
team
for
up and
me.
down is
I hope it
perfectly
does
fine.
too. I really enjoy watching Jays baseball. So obviously, when they're good, I'm all for it. It's just something about like we have one Canadian team. Like let an entire country take ownership of that. Like I miss the Expos, man.
Yeah. Hey, you could be a Nats fan.
No,
All right. So looking into it, I had 7 overs there and 8 unders. And I believe you had 8 overs and 7 unders,
sounds right.
which is good news, I think, for the NL. Or didn't you say? Never mind.
Spoilers.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out your breakdown here. All right. Anyway, let's move on to the NL, and then we'll come back for.
Okay. The thing is, I hope you. I know you know this. I think. I hope that it doesn't have to be a even 15-15 split, right? Because
No,
if
I
you
know.
have one team winning
But
by
every
or beating their over by a lot, that could count for a couple like unders, for example. Okay,
yeah, if somebody beats
maybe
their
not all the
over under
listeners
by
know that.
5, and you could say other 5 other teams
Yeah,
hit their unders
miss it
by
by
1,
one,
like
right?
I
Okay,
just wanted to have it because obviously Vegas isn't going to have lopsided over unders, so I figured it would
right.
make the most sense for me to have 15 overs, 15 unders,
Yeah, I mean it's a good way to base
at
things
least
off
for
of.
it to make sense in my head, and then at least not just
Mhm.
have stupid logic when it comes to some teams.
I went
Which
through and I just
I feel like the NL
went
I've
gut.
got some stupid logic. So
I went through and did gut logic on all mine, and it turned out 16-14. And I'm like, oh, perfect. That's close enough.
I unfortunately started my counter as I was doing it. So like I feel
Oh,
like that may
so
have
that's in the
swayed a
back of your
team or
mind the
two.
whole time.
It could have
Yeah,
been.
I decided to cross that bridge when I got there, and I never got there. So, all right.
I so when I finished though, I did also have 16-14 over under. I just was like, I need to
You
make
flipped
this
one.
15-15. So I flipped a
All
team.
right. Who
Which actually
was
I
that?
flipped 3 teams. But
Oh,
it
okay.
was
Never mind then.
I flipped the Tigers.
Oh,
Actually, that was it. I lied. It was just the Tigers.
love it. All right, you want to head to the NL, starting with the East,
Yes.
because we covered them first.
Yeah, we'll go with the East, West, Central, like we did in the preview order. Braves,
Perfect.
93.5.
One sec. Gotta sort my sheet here. All right, 3, 2, 1, over.
Under, but it's going to be 93.
Dang. Okay.
But a slight preview to this. I think these 3 teams are just going to cannibalize the shit out of each other. So
Okay. Fair. Mets, 90.5.
let it
Three,
rip.
two, one, over.
Under.
My
I
goodness,
for
you're
some
tough
reason
on it. You want everybody to be 500, don't you?
I, for some reason, have a bad feeling about the Mets, and I don't know why.
I'm concerned about their
Uh,
pitching for sure.
yes, well,
So,
that is a huge, huge part. Like the fact that
yeah.
Clay Holmes is your ace right now is crazy.
Yeah, it's a little disturbing what they're throwing out there, especially in their starting rotation. However,
The guy was a quote unquote failed closer last year.
yeah, I just really wouldn't be like that terribly shocked if their offense just outscores everybody. I
Yeah,
really wouldn't.
but like this is another team like the Braves too. It's another team where I'm like, it's set at the Mets are set at 90 and a half. I'm like, I think they're winning 89 or 90. Like,
Correct.
I
Yeah,
think my
I'm with you.
mentality going into this
The thing
was
is, it's
if I
hard to
had to
get
pit,
over their 90 win season with getting to like a 98. Like that's out of it seems like it's out of the realm of possibilities because of how many good teams are in this division.
yeah, I
So
think
like if
my
you
thought
go
process
over, you
going
have
into this
4 games.
was whatever their win total is set at,
Mm-hmm.
could I forced myself mentally to pick it whether I think it's more likely to be 3 games over or 3 games less.
Right.
And then that was kind of my if it was a absolutely it's over, absolutely it's under, obviously don't even think about it. But if I'm
Yeah.
like, I think it's more likely to be like I for whatever reason
So you think they're
I think
closer
it's
to
because of the rotation. I think
85
the Mets are
than
closer to
95?
yeah.
Okay, that's
But I
fair. I
really think
mean,
it's more like 88. I
okay.
just this team has basically had the same roster, obviously outside of Soto,
Yep.
for the last like 5 or 6 years. And they've just been underachieving, underachieving, underachieving. And then they get rid of Jose Iglesias. Like,
I know.
how are you going to get back to your same win total? No, it's
Also, we
obviously they
see all the
added
time with
Soto,
the
so they
Mets
will be better. It's just
yeah,
their
the
rotation is
expectations of the
dog.
Mets that they carry every year, where like if they start out cold, it always seems like it's crushing, and like the
Yeah.
team never like can dig its way out almost. The only thing is one year they're going to start crazy hot and like they're going to ride that wave to their advantage too.
Yeah, and they won't have OMG to carry him through.
I know. All right, Philly, 90 and a
90
half.
and a half.
1, 2,
Go
3, 2, 1 under.
over. I think that's probably why we have disagreed
Yeah.
here. I think
Yeah, I mean that's just a product of the
the
other two
Phillies
more
stay
than
hot,
anything.
which I think is funny because I've over the last like 8 years, I've always rooted against the Phillies, but for whatever reason, this makeup of this team, the last couple years, I
Love
love.
them now. I mean, I love the team. I think they're fun to watch. I like all the players on it, just like from a entertainment. Like I like that ball player type of thing. Um, I know we talked about it in the preview. I just think that there's a path more so than the Mets or the Braves to fall apart. And I think that path is just you start to get a little wear and tear. We talked about how old their lineup is relatively to other teams in the league. So I'm just a little bit concerned that there's a little bit of regression.
Yeah, I that concern exists to me as well, but like with their rotation, I'm like they'll be just fine.
Yeah. I mean, the
The
rotation.
rotation's so good.
But even like Aaron
Like,
Nola, like he's got a lot of mileage on the arm. Like he could take a step back potentially.
yeah, but
I know
when
they
has
got
he
like
ever been consistently bad?
replacements with Sanchez and Wheeler's
Yeah, but Sanchez is
like
good.
34 or something. I know they're all good. It's just like, can they achieve up to the level they did last year? That's my biggest concern.
Yeah. And I
Which
think
I
that
think is
answer
valid. I don't think
is
you
yes.
disagree. It's just you think that odds are they don't regress.
Yeah. I bet you we agree with the next two.
Like
I'd be
Wheeler's
willing to put money on it.
pushing 35, by the way,
All right.
and he's been at top of the game. I'm just saying for the viewers out there. I know you know that.
Yeah, he's pushing 35 and he's got the second best Cy Young
I
odds.
know he's so stubborn. I get it. I get it. I get it. All right, the Nats.
Which, by the way, the guy that won the NL Cy Young last year, I'm pretty sure is a year older than him. So
Don't care. What are the odds? Probably slim.
fireworks going on outside. Apologies if that's insanely loud, but
No, can't
all
hear
right,
it.
Nats at 70.5.
Yep.
3, 2, 1,
2,
go.
1, over.
Over.
All right, there's an agreement. They got too much young talent. You in the same boat?
Can we just agree that the next one's going to be under and save the suspense?
Yeah, deal.
All right,
That
cool.
team stinks.
Marlins under. Yeah.
Line's at 63.5, by the way.
One good thing I am looking forward to the Marlins is that Sandy Alcantara looks like he is exactly his Cy Young self. So that'll be the one time, potentially twice a week, that I tune into the Marlins.
Mm-hmm. They do have good pitching. However, they don't have enough around them to warrant keeping them. So I think eventually they get moved before they're actually.
I also love Xavier Edwards, by the way.
I know you do. All right, the West.
Got him decently yesterday in a fantasy draft. The West. Dodgers, by the way, are minus 800 to win the division. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
They're by and large the best team in baseball, and it's not particularly
What
close.
have you ever seen, though? When have you ever seen minus 800 to win a division?
Yeah, well,
like that just speaks to their depth, by the way.
Projected to win by 19
Like
games,
the Padres and D-backs aren't bad teams, and they're still minus 800.
Yep.
All right, 105 and a half.
Huge total.
Yep. Jesus, I can't stop burping. All right, 3, 2, 1. Over.
Wow.
I don't think it's by much.
It can't be by much.
I don't think it's by much. I don't think they're coming anywhere close to like a record, just because I think they'll do stupid load management shit, but it's not stupid when you have the depth to do it.
The thing is, if they're chasing a record,
they're deep as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, their MLB roster is crazy. Like cutting Ryan Brazier, like just speaks to it, right? Like he is a borderline like all-star pitcher quality.
Yeah.
Not so far with the Cubs, he's been getting laid up. However, like based on what he did with the Dodgers, like he is that good, and they literally can't find a spot for him. So that's the depth for you. Plus, they have one of the best farm systems.
Yeah, like it's just they're like I was saying with the minus 800. It's like their depth is just like you can sit here and be like, oh, I think some voodoo witch is gonna give them all some sickness and they're gonna lose.
Doesn't matter.
They're still gonna only win 90 games, but it's like no, they've got an entire team ready to come up and play.
Yeah,
and
they have an entire like pitching staff that's hurt right
500
now,
ball
which
at
is
worst.
crazy.
Yeah.
So they're only going to get healthier, to be honest with you. Like, it's crazy. Also, like, just having somebody like Kike Hernandez who can play every position, he probably could figure out catcher if he really had to. He pitches when they're up by 1 million. Like, he can play any position. So anybody past that on the depth chart is like depth of depth at that point. So,
yeah,
hard for this to go south for them.
All right, I think I may have mistyped this. Will you tell me, or will you say and count off the Padres and Diamondbacks totals?
Yeah, Diamondbacks 86.5 projected to come in second. Over under in 3, 2, 1, under.
Over.
Woo. I knew you were going to be over. That's your squad.
I'm high on them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because of my boy Max. They themselves are deep. They're good across the board. Their rotation's nasty. It does suck that Jordan Montgomery's getting Tommy John, but he was basically supposed to be their sixth guy anyway. I mean, it does.
Yeah. No, he's actually.
I bet their owner is pissed,
regardless of how good he is. Yeah.
Their owner was already bad mouthing him last year. Can you imagine what he's saying about him now?
Yeah.
Unless they've got a massive insurance policy on him, maybe he's happy.
I think under there, by the way, just I think Corbin Carroll's really, really good. I can see how he has a similar year as last year, where he goes through like month-long struggles. And they lost Christian Walker and replaced with Josh Naylor, who's obviously formidable replacement, but I think very highly of Christian Walker, as do you.
Yeah.
All right.
Very much agree there.
Padres. Over unders at 50, or sorry, not 55.5, 85.5.
All right, so I have the same numbers, but when I wrote the order, I was going off odds to win the division. So that's interesting. The Padres are slightly better
favorites
odds to win the division than the Diamondbacks.
And
from the same app, by the way. So
yeah, all right.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. It doesn't necessarily correlate to wins.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, if they go nuts, they have a better chance to win the division than D-backs. I get it. Like, they probably have better odds to go nuts as far as record goes than Diamondbacks as far as statistical models go.
Yeah.
You can't hear these fireworks?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's dead quiet.
It is downtown. Booming out there.
They're getting ready for opening day.
Yeah, it's opening day, baby.
All right, Padres, 85.5. Over under in 3, 2, 1.
Over.
All right.
Yes.
Love that.
I just still think they're good. Like, I feel like all the mentals on it is they're going to have a down year, but they're still very good.
They're so good. I don't think we've seen the best of Tatis yet, and now they have Jose Iglesias, the true league MVP.
Yeah. Right. Like, anytime you have Merrill, Tatis, Machado, your boy, the Crone Zone, they're going to be just fine. Their pitching is still great. They're
85.5, like,
unless they dismantle it. No. Unless they dismantle it and move people, but it's literally probably 24 hours before their opening day, so I doubt it. Probably 22 hours.
I think they're competing for a wild card all year regardless. Like, that, yeah, they're many moons back from the Dodgers, but I think they're so competitive in terms of the league.
I can't wait for their 13 games this year, because you know the Padres are going to play their heart out when they play them.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they really want it to be a good rivalry, which it has been. But there wasn't really like crazy bad blood between them. But now I feel like it's really starting to get there, and I'm excited for it.
It's funny,
like, there was like fake bad blood.
Like, oh, we'll get the Padres will get a World Series before you or whatever, and all this and that about when
said, hold my beer.
Padres. Yeah, I said you're an idiot.
This next team is I'm very curious on you, and I think I actually already disagree with myself, but I'm going to stick with it.
Okay, I love that. 79.5 for the Giants. 3, 2, 1, under.
Over. Yeah. See, I want to say under, but I didn't, so I can't.
Are you over on all four of these teams so far?
Correct.
Okay.
That you can tell. That you can tell where my next one's gonna go.
Yeah. All right, talk to me about the Giants.
I don't know. I just feel like I want to say under because I don't love their team. Like, that. I just, nothing about it screams sexy. But
do they just feel like a 500?
At least not. Like, I don't look at this lineup and I'm like, oh yeah, this lineup can smash. Like, obviously you got Adames and Chapman, like, keystoning their entire lineup, but it's like, I do, yeah. I wouldn't say he's as good as those two, but
Ty Fitzgerald.
I don't know. I mean, their rotations there, all right.
Let me ask you this.
What you're going to get out of Verlander.
When the Giants were at their peak with the Buster Posey days, were you wowed by their lineup then?
I don't know if I remember enough of it, to be honest. I got a bad brain.
I just think that, like, I'm never wowed by the Giants lineup, and I think it's because they don't get a whole lot of recognition, because they don't put up the raw numbers to warrant that. However, like, in the middle of the summer, it can be like 65 degrees in San Francisco. Like, so, it's a weird situation where I think a lot of their hitters are better than what they net out to be at the end of the day. like
Yeah.
in raw numbers
Dude,
for him.
So as you know, I've been scouting reporting the hell out of Logan Webb just to get excited for opening day versus the Reds. Like every single, I've been trying to figure out like when he gives home runs to try to make the right home run bet. Christian Encarnacion Strand in his second at bat with a 1-1 count and a changeup. Mark it down right now. But like every single video that of a home run that he hit from Savant that was at home, it could be in July and the entire crowd's wearing hoodies.
Yeah.
Like I guess I've never realized that before.
It's a phenomenon to me as somebody who's never been to California in my life.
Don't really have a whole big desire to either outside of San Diego, and I would
a game there.
I'd breeze through San Francisco. I have no desire to go to LA unless it's for a Reds game, I guess. I would go to Dodger Stadium, of course, but I don't visiting LA.
I don't care for LA either.
Thanks.
Never been.
My Cincinnati bones don't need that. All right. Did we agree upon the Rockies? I know we didn't get into that.
No, we did not, because I know you're have going the under. I have the over. So here's the thing.
I'm only saying under just because this division's good. I don't hate the Rockies by any means. I just don't think it's going to work out. The rotation is poo-poo, but their lineup I don't hate.
Rotation is terrible. I think the Rockies have at least some pieces. Now, that got worse with Nolan Jones leaving. However, I think Brenton Doyle is really good. I think Chris Bryant hopefully can play more than like 20 games this year because I think he's still got at least a little bit left.
If he does, is he good?
Well, I don't think he's good necessarily. I think he's just a lot better than his potential replacement. So I think he's like a huge value to the team in that aspect. But also, I don't think the Rockies are only 5 games better than the White Sox. And that's what Vegas has them at. So to me, 59.5 seems very low.
I mean, I agree with that as well, but they're playing 4 much better teams than the White Sox.
Yeah, I get that. I get it. But that's still a minority.
That's for a total of 52 games.
Yeah.
But that's 52 games. That's
the main reason. Swept, though.
The White Sox are the main reason the AL Central put 3 teams in last year.
Yeah. You're making
like
good
all
point.
3 of the teams that made it went like 11-2 or better against the White Sox. Actually, I think the Guards randomly went like 8-6.
I just don't think the Rockies quite get to 100 losses. I really don't.
I think they do. They have the worst. Well, this makes absolute sense, but they have the worst odds to win their division.
Yeah,
100% makes sense with the Dodgers in their division.
Yeah, has nothing to do with
I don't. Correct.
All right.
Kind of does.
What do you want to roll into next? You want to do like division winners wild card? Oh, shit.
We haven't done the Central, you loser.
My bad. I'm jumping the gun.
I thought you were doing that to be funny.
No, I was on the east to west kind of thing. Yeah, no, I wasn't doing that on purpose.
I think we're going to disagree on. One.
Okay. I was going to say 1 as well. I think it's the second.
No, I think we're going to disagree on 2.
Okay. I think, yeah, probably.
Should we start at the bottom? Let's do that.
Fine.
Okay, fine. All right, yeah, we're doing it. Cardinals, 75.5. Starting at the bottom. Cardinals and Pirates are tied at 75.5. We're starting with Cardinals. 3, 2, 1. Under.
Yeah.
Yes.
Easy. They stink, dude.
I could see them getting 76, but like
I could see them getting 76. 78 is out of the question almost. That's the thing. But it feels like 65 is in the question.
I just feel like one of either the Cardinals or the Pirates are just going to be way worse.
I got to film with TikTok on them. I was thinking today, but I still got to get to work after this, and it's 9:30. So probably not. However,
dude,
the whole premise is going to be that they. Yes, I did the day before opening day. opening day eve. However, the whole premise on the Cardinals is that they didn't spend any money. They have a bunch of homegrown talent, but they're no longer the Cardinals of the past where they have Albert Pujols and Yadier Molina and Adam Wainwright and like all these homegrown talented guys. Like I think Mason Wynn's good, but like you look at their roster, they don't have very many like first round picks. I think they're just all there by circumstance and not there by merit necessarily. So like they need a bunch of guys who I don't think are particularly good to really step up in a big way to be competitive in a division that is quickly getting better. So
I agree with the 78's not out of the picture, but I feel like that pace isn't out of the picture for the first half because I feel like they're going to deal Arenado and Helsley. Like they have to deal those two. Maybe even a starter or two that's nearing either the end of arbitration or whatever deal they might have. Like Sonny could even go. I don't know what Sonny's contract looks like, but that wouldn't be.
He's not in the long-term plan. He's too old.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a horrible piece to move because you're going to get pieces back.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Pittsburgh. Also 75.5
as well.
3,
countdown.
2, 1, under.
Under.
All right. Yep.
But I don't think it's
that's where I thought you agreed.
I think the Pirates are on the up, just not yet.
I think it's crazy that they're projected the same as the Cardinals. I think Cardinals come in last pretty easily. All right, we're going to agree on this next one.
I could see that swinging crazily either way, or they tie. Like I have no clue what the fourth and fifth spot in the NL Central is going to look like. Because the Cardinals aren't bad. There's just nobody that's great on their team.
Yeah, which kind of makes you bad.
Yeah, but you could go on big stretches. Like the White Sox are never going to sweep a team.
No.
But the Cardinals could easily sweep a team.
Better than that. Like they're not trailer trash of the league, but
correct. That's not fair of me to be comparing teams that are 20 wins apart from each other, but like I don't know. I still don't think they're a bad
I think
team.
they win around all right, so what's a realistic line for the Cardinals? For you? Because I would say 70 to 71.
That's yeah.
Is that where you have? Okay. Just curious on your thoughts there.
I was thinking probably more 72, 73, but we're splitting hairs here.
Yeah. All right. You can introduce the next one. Yep.
Your
squad, so take it.
2025 NL Central champions, the Cincinnati Reds at 79.5. Holy shit, that's over. And I know you're going to say that.
Yeah, that's a dumb one.
I think that's the worst one of the entire 30. And legitimately, I've been watching MLB Network for the last 2 hours, and every single person on that show agrees. Yeah. 2/3 of the people on MLB Network for the last show picked us to win the division.
The addition of Tito, the addition of Matt McLain, essentially, right? Back from injury.
Yeah.
And then, like, CES, who I know you're a lot higher on than me, but, like, he's there this year. He wasn't really last year for a huge stretch of it. They still have Noelle, who's, like, not in the picture at the moment, but could be if needed kind of thing. But Jesus. Well, that's what I'm saying. Not in the picture at the moment. But, like, if anything were to break down, like, they still have somebody who's supposed to be good, at least was supposed to be really good, waiting in the wings. So there's depth. There's the addition of Tito. There's the improvement of just, like, the young roster that was already there. Brady Singer, you have a million starters. As long as you can figure out the bullpen, I think you're in good shape.
Yep. Steer's not hitting the IL.
Yeah,
at least
that's good.
They're holding off because Austin Hayes got put in the IL for a calf strain that just happened. But
yeah,
I'm assuming you didn't see any of this because you've been in a work cave all day. But
I've seen it because you texted me about 5,000 times today that I didn't respond.
Well, respond like a good
I didn't have
podcast
time to
co-host
respond,
does.
Matt. I don't think you understand.
Yeah. The food industry.
I gotta sell groceries, brother. All right, Milwaukee.
82 and a half.
3, 2, 1. Way over.
Under.
Yeah, you're crazy for that.
You said way over?
Way over, dude.
I've
gone back and forth on them. I'm officially way
really?
over. One, Jackson Churio,
I saw the
going
TikTok.
into year 2, is insanely good. Like, I sat down and I watched 15-minute straight highlights of Jackson Churio. And the opposite field power and the ease of it, like, it is terrifying how good he is. Especially because he's not
You
just
should see the home run he hit off Logan Webb that I watched. Ball was destroyed.
Dude, he is so fucking good. And then they get Christian Yelich back,
who
was playing close-ish to his MVP caliber season before he went down with an injury last year. He seems to be fully back in the sense of health. He had back surgery this offseason. He hit a home run over the batter's eye in spring training. That's all I need to see. That's more than freaking Kyle Tucker did. So I have all the faith in the world that as long as he's healthy, he's still one of the best players in the game. Garrett Mitchell also missed a lot of time. They lost Willy Adames. I don't think Willy Adames is as good as the Giants do, apparently, given the money.
Biggest contract in Giants history, by the way.
Yeah, I think Contreras is good. Contreras is like, he just hits nonstop. No matter what it looks like, he just figures out a way to put the ball in play and get on base. So I think they have enough offense. Why don't you like them?
I don't.
Especially how many games they win last year? Do you have that up? 90 something?
92, 93, I think.
You think they're 10 games worse than last year?
Roster Resources already updated it since you guys played games, so it's not right in front of me. I think it was 93.
Right.
The reason I am, and this is honestly probably a reason that I should also be lower in the Reds, 93. But I can't be. The back half of their lineup just gives me so much issues. Like,
what don't you like?
You have to bank that Yelich stays healthy. I'm not saying by any means that I expect Jackson Churio to be worse than he was last year. I'm just saying a sophomore curse is a thing. Like some guys get worse as people get more and more footage on you. And I don't have anything bad to say about their top 4. Rhys Hoskins is, I feel like, he's like a Willy Adames to me as far as a hitter. Like, not going to get you much outside of the like not random, but the power swings. Like, he's not going to be leading the league in home runs, but they're not average guys. They're just going to be crushing the ball. But the rest of their lineup, I just don't love by any means. And their bench sucks.
Yeah.
Like, if they have any, I don't know what their farm looks like, but their bench is trash. If they have any sort of injury concerns, the next man in is not looking good. Your boy Jake Bowers is probably their best option.
Made the team.
Did he officially? He's still listed as non-roster, but he was on their team last year.
They announced it today.
Just weird. Yeah, well, and they've got their bullpen's fine, but like Miguel's not Devin Williams. Payamps was really good last year. Everybody else, puh.
They figure it out. They
I don't know. We'll see. I don't disagree with that. And I would have thought last year would have been their year to be bad, just having a new coach, but they won 93 games without Yelich for half
they also
the season.
Exactly. They also added Nestor Cortez and get Brandon Woodruff back. And you're telling me they're 10 games worse.
I don't know if they were a 90, like, obviously, yes, they won 93 games last year, but I don't think they were a 93 win team last year. I think they just won games when they needed to. Like, they're not the caliber of a 93 win team.
They're under 500 in one-run games. I know you like that stat.
which actually surprises me.
No, it does.
I would have thought that would be a reason why their record was so good.
That's why I kept it in my back pocket until now, because I knew where you were at.
Okay. Relax. I don't know.
Just saying, I'm high on the Brewers.
It just felt like things were always going their way last year, when it wasn't like they were just hitting the shit out of the ball. It was just like they found ways to win games, which I understand that's a thing. I get that. Like, that's not something I should just shoo away.
I hear you. I'm being an asshole.
Is that gonna carry into another season?
Right.
I don't know. I don't think it will. If it does, then I'll admit that I was wrong. But I'll never admit that they're good. I'll just say that I was wrong, that they were bad. All right, Cubs, final 30th team, 86.5, 3, 2, 1, over. You're going to say under.
Under.
Yeah, I knew those are the two that I thought we were going to disagree on.
Yeah.
Because you said under for both Pirates and Cardinals, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you want Jake's thoughts on it, go view the TikTok. But
the TikTok is a little.
I will say I don't think Cubs are a 90-win team anymore. I think they're like 87.
Okay.
And it's not because they've already lost 2. It's just actually looking up some more teams, like, and in a full scale, like, league wide view, and watching games. Like, maybe I was a little roster baity with the Cubs.
The thing is, their pitching is not good in the grand scheme of things. So, concern there. And then we also have a couple spots within the lineup that I think are holes as well. So, showing up to the table, like, yeah, we have some really good, really, really, really good players, but I don't think the team as a whole is as dominant as some odds say. Or
I don't quite agree with your holes in the lineup.
I don't think Dansby's that good. Miguel Amaya, I don't think is that good. Pete can definitely struggle at times.
I don't know why Dansby's hitting 5th.
Matt Shaw is, who knows?
I think he'll be a lot better than you think, but
I hope so. I mean, he's supposed to be really good. It just looks unconventional.
Yeah, we've discussed the Cubbies enough, and just teams in general enough. Let's keep it to from here on out. Let's keep it to our divisional picks, playoff picks, and then we'll hop into the awards really quick. All right, Jake, very quickly.
Yep.
Tell me your 3 division winners in the AL. Any order you want, and I'll stay in that same order.
East Central to West.
You pick. I'll stay in the same order.
All right. Baltimore. Detroit. Rangers. Rangers is a big flip-flop for me, by the way.
I thought you said they were going to win.
I don't think so. I'd have to go back and look.
Certain you did, but that was also like a month ago. So, so
Maybe
I agree with one of the 3, and it is the Rangers. Like I said, I have fully bought in on the Red Sox. So I put Red Sox for East, which again, I think this is going to be by like 1 or 2 games. I'm sticking with the Twins despite my heart telling me otherwise. I just think I don't need to even drive into that. Again, though, I think the top 4 teams in the Central finish within like 3 or 4 games of each other, which will be fun as shit to watch if that's the case. Just be the battle of the suck. But then I agree with the Rangers. I think the Astros took a little bit of a step back, but I'm excited to see Cam Smith. I think the Mariners. Oh man, I want to change something else, but yeah, I think the Mariners could do it.
If you make a change, this is what you're stuck to. So
I'm sticking with what I had. I'm sticking with what I had. It's still Rangers. I'm not saying that the Mariners are winning the division, but
they have so much. The Mariners have so much pitching. They just did nothing for their hitting. Nothing. Donnie Barrels is it, pretty much. They did sign Cal Raleigh today, though.
Yeah.
Extension. So good for him.
I believe I have him on both my fantasy teams, if not just one.
Good.
Definitely have
one of the best hitting catchers in the league, if not the best hitting catcher in the league, depending what you value. Power.
I was going to say Contreras, but
the thing is, he's doing it in the most pitcher-friendly ballpark.
Also, Contreras technically isn't a catcher anymore. Sure. As far as fantasy-wise, you can put him at catcher. But
depends which Contreras you're talking about.
I'm talking about the better hitter. The one that's not the catcher anymore.
Oh, pretty good.
All right. Your wild cards. Let's trade back and forth.
Okay. I'll lead us off here. Obvious choice is Boston.
All right.
I like it for all the same reasons you do. I have Baltimore being slightly better.
I'll match your Boston by saying Baltimore for mine, so that we at least agree on those two teams.
Yep. My second one, I'll go with the Yanks. Don't really know how they're going to fully get there.
I think they're going to spend like crazy at the deadline to get there.
Yeah, I think they can figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So you have them as well?
Yes.
Okay. My third team, this is where it gets fucking hard.
Yeah. I'm assuming you're going to pick the Mariners?
I'm not.
Wow.
I'm picking the Royals.
I knew you were about to say the Royals, even though you shit in their lineup.
Also is a bump up to where I had them for when we went through divisional previews.
Yeah.
I just think Bobby Witt and Cole Reagans, like having one of the best players in baseball on each side of the ball, plus supporting pieces in there, and like Sal Perez, for example, I think they are good enough. And I think they get to play the White Sox far too often, and I don't think the Twins will be good.
See, like I hate that I planted my flag on the Twins so long ago. Because
You're stuck to them.
Well, I want to eliminate them now, but they're there. I'm sticking to it. Flag has been planted. So in my brain right now, so I believe I already said this earlier, but the Tigers are my third wild card. If I could change it right now, which I could because I have the power to edit this podcast, but I'm not going to, I would probably say that the Tigers edge out the Twins for the division and the Twins get replaced by the Mariners. So the Mariners will be my honorable mention just because they're pitching so good. It's hard for them to ever be bad because their pitching is so good.
You can still change it. I'll give you 5 seconds.
What kind of man would I be?
Okay. Hey, all right. So you are going with the Twins to win the division, Detroit to be the last.
Flag planted.
All right.
Not necessarily last, just third choice.
The last and the third choice, yeah. Okay. So really we have, outside of placement, we have the same teams outside of you have the
Twins I have
Royals, which I think is interesting because I don't think either of us think that the central teams that we're getting into the playoffs are necessarily the sixth best team in the league. I think part of it is the AL Central is by far the weakest, and therefore they will have a better record. Am I fair in addressing that?
That's what's hysterical about the White Sox. Like we keep sitting here being like, oh, last year all these teams won 11-2 against the White Sox, but like the White Sox are as much a part of this playoff as any other team because they solely, like especially last year, they depicted 3 teams. Well, obviously one team had to make it, but they sent 2 other teams to the playoffs basically. Yeah,
and I think they aren't much better, if at all.
Which, if I'm the East or the West teams that just barely missed, like if I'm their owners, I'm furious.
Yeah,
like you got one team just absolutely punting, allowing other 3 teams to inflate their records and sneak into the playoffs by a game. They're
going to be bad for a while too, by the way.
When I've been dying for this shit. Shout out R. Kelly. What'd you say?
NL?
Yes, I was going to say let's hold off the World Series pick. We're not going to pick every round, but like I think after we pick the 6 for AL, NL, we say who are World Series representatives. Yeah, we can do that. World Series representatives after we pick these 6 and then say who we think our winners are.
Yep. What a rip.
All right. Division winners. I'll let you pick the order again. You start again.
East Central. Okay. East, Central, West. Okay. Braves.
Phillies. Sorry, I thought you were going to say all 3 like we did for the AL.
My bad. Cubs.
Even
though I have the under.
Okay. Cubs, although I think I've convinced myself that the Reds are going to win it, but I have to pick the Cubs.
I'm sure you have. All right, good for you. Dodgers. That one was the easiest.
So we agreed on 2, which, by the way, I think Braves, Phillies might finish the year tied.
Yeah. So I'll spoil that and say that I have the Phillies in a wild card spot.
Whoa, dude! I picked the Braves too.
What? Oh, my bad. I missed your tone at first.
I think our next 2 are gonna.
No,
because you're not gonna pick the Reds.
Correct.
Spoiler alert!
If you pick the Reds, you know where I'm going. I think.
I think you're gonna say Mets and D-backs.
Interesting. No. Mets, yes. So I'm on the Mets. You're on the Reds.
And then D-backs?
Are you on the D-backs?
Yes.
All right. I'm on Milwaukee.
Ew.
You can keep hating on them. They're fucking good, dude. All right. So quick recap because we got a little squirrely at the end there. I have Atlanta, the Cubs, and the Dodgers as division winners. You have Phillies, Cubs, and Dodgers. And then for wild card, I have Mets, Phillies, Brewers. You have Reds, Braves, and Diamondbacks. I capture all that right for you?
Yeah. I was about to make fun of you for picking the 6 best teams, like as far as over-unders, but the Brewers are definitely not.
Yeah, I think a full chalk. Okay. Want to get on to the 3 main award races?
Can I say something?
You got a comment? You can say whatever you want.
My only comment is that it's our podcast. But, I would say only 30% of me picking the Reds is homer bias. I legitimately think this team is getting heavily slept on. And I think just with the amount of excitement going into it, we've got nothing to lose. I don't think only the super irrational fans expect us to win the division or even make the playoffs. They probably don't know how good these 3 teams in the East are. They don't know how good the 4 other teams in the NL West are. Theoretically, the Reds probably shouldn't make it. However, I think just this hype, we're super young. I think it's with Tito, it's just the vibe going into it is at an all-time high, and I think it's going to make its way to the field. Plus, we have talent.
Yeah, undeniably. However, can I flip the script on you?
Sure.
Because I know you are the eternal optimist in life and in Reds fandom.
Bet.
However, I want you to poke a hole or holes in the Reds this year. If they don't make it, why?
It's probably going to be injuries and not living up to potential.
Really? That's all you got for me?
I mean,
not the fact that
do you want me to predict the entire season right now?
I mean, I think injuries is a cop out. I wanted you to say, because it's my opinion that, and I think it's the people's opinion, that if it doesn't go well, it's because you're relying a lot on back end of the lineup pieces that haven't proven much over the course of a full season.
I mean,
that's my biggest concern with the Reds.
My biggest thing is that everybody's shitting on the pieces for the Reds when really the only one that's been a solid, steady, there all the time pieces on the team. I'm not including Ellie on that since he's in the MVP picture, but The only person that's been steadily there that's going to be an everyday player is Spencer Steer. Candelario hurt all last year. CES hurt all last year. Fraley hurt all last year. Lux wasn't here. McLean didn't play a single game. Friedel missed half the season.
These guys haven't played anywhere.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like when they have played, they're good. But people are just like there's just a lot of what if talk going into it, which rightfully so. But there's been few looks of just shit ball, and I'm not including Candelario on that because he can look pretty shitty. But like, there's a lot of unprovenness with a lot of
that's why it's surprising me that that's not
glaring issues. Like I think of those names, I'm not including Fraley either because he's a platoon guy. He's not supposed to be like a staple of our team. But like,
all right, so
Ellie's limiting strikeout rate already so far this spring, just at least his approach, like that's going to translate to the regular season. Whether the strikeout rate actually went down or not, I don't know, but the approach will change things.
So let me give you a list of 4 guys who are going to be playing a ton for you. All right. It's 4/6 guys. Jamer, who's an everyday player, Encarnacio Strand, who's an everyday player, and then you have platoons with Gavin Lux and Jake Fraley.
Which,
okay, well, so PS, include their
Candy and CES aren't. Oh, CES definitely platoon. Like I'm saying, fully healthy. I know you can't expect to be fully healthy all the time. CES is more of a platoon guy. Candy would probably play 4 out of 5 times a week. Like you're going to give him rest.
Yeah, that's all fine. What I'm saying is you have those 4 guys plus their platoon counterpart, right? Like Santiago Espinal and Gavin Lux potentially, right? So you really have a group of 6 guys, 4 of which would be in your lineup on any given day. How many of those 6 guys do you think realistically live up to expectation to a point where they can make the playoffs? How many of those guys let me rephrase that. How many of those 6 guys have to overachieve their previous career's work to make the Reds good enough to make the playoffs?
Well, previous career work, like there hasn't been much work.
I mean,
are you just saying
Jamer
living up to potential?
And Gavin Lux and Jake Fraley.
I think Jamer will be just fine. Like he's not going to he's slated to hit 5th for us, maybe 6th. There was a leak of the scoreboard at Great American that Gavin Lux is hitting 5th, but like he'll be fine. He's not supposed to be a cornerstone of our lineup. To answer your question, I'd say we probably should expect at least 3 or 4, but I think Ellie takes a massive step forward. I don't know if he's.
If he does though, and other guys don't, you don't have to pitch to him.
Get this advertisement out of here. What?
If Ellie takes a huge step forward, but you only have 2 or 3 of the 6 people that we're talking about here in the back half of the lineup being good, you don't have to pitch to Ellie.
I understand that, and right now is tough because 2 of the 3 guys that would possibly be hitting behind him are currently hurt, and that's Stevenson and Austin Hayes, which Steer was the 3rd that I was going to list, but he's also not the most healthy. He's got a banged up shoulder, but so right now, I mean, Ellie's protection isn't the greatest, so he's going to have to probably step up early season to get us off to the right track. But I also think Matty McLean is going to come out hot, and Ellie's just going to feed off of that every single at bat.
Okay. I just wanted you to play the other side of it for a second. So I appreciate it.
And I do. I just don't ever like to talk about it because I don't ever want to talk about my team being bad unless we're actually bad.
Yeah. You can take ownership of it. All right. On to awards. You ready?
Well, I was going to say World Series predictions.
Okay, we can do that first.
I mean, this could take 30 seconds.
Yeah. Dodgers are getting there. Tell me otherwise.
I didn't pick them just because I wanted to be contrarian.
Okay. So you agree Dodgers are getting there.
And it's baseball. No, I picked Phillies. I'm sticking with it.
Okay. I know, but like, yeah, we'll give you the Phillies as far as planting your flag, but you really think the Dodgers.
All right.
You're not convincing me otherwise.
All right.
All right.
I got Red Sox on the other side.
And I have Baltimore. Okay, so that's not surprising based on where we have both those teams. I think those teams both fill the same void for us. Like we think of each of them the same way.
Yeah.
It's just flip flop, obviously, what team it is. All right, let me write that down real quick. World Series.
Phillies all the way. They're getting it done.
Phillies.
Finally.
Officially Phillies and Boston.
Okay. Let it be known that I'm actually not picking the Dodgers.
Okay. I'll make that very apparent. All right. Now, finally.
It's a playoff.
The
man.
last topic of the day. All right.
Well, the last awards. 6 topics of the day. We can get through these quickly. We don't have to go crazy about these.
Let's start Rookie of the Year. Okay. Give me your AL Rookie of the Year.
And so this guy is the main reason of why I got a little bit higher up on them. I'm not going with the 3 chalk at the top. I think you're going to pick the third guy, but I'm going to go with the fourth guy at plus 850, Jackson Jobe.
All right.
I think he had I think it was 4 innings pitched last year, pitched really well. Kind of blew up in the playoffs in that 5 batters he faced. I think he only ended up getting 1 out, but I think he's going to be just fine. Guy's an absolute stud. Should be just fine. And the only person I see that, well, I mean, all 3 of the guys above him could obviously win it. I think what the Tigers are going to do, and the fact that he's a pitcher and the other 3 are hitters, I think that's why he's going to win it.
Yeah. I could see that. If they make the playoffs and he's at all part of that, especially with the
pitching
development that they've been able to do in Detroit with pitching, Tarik Skubal, I think he is a very good candidate. I was tempted to pick him, but you are correct. I'm going to take Cam Smith because I think the world of him. That's not a surprise to you, but yeah, that dude is good. I don't think he's ever struggled to hit a baseball.
You're only picking him so you can say I told you so.
That's not true.
It's not true.
I will.
It's not true.
First person to say I told you so. Yes. However, even if he was still on the Cubs and he was playing third base instead of Matt Shaw, for example, I would still pick him because the second he turned pro, he's been nothing but incredible. So, All right, I know. Who you got?
You kick it off. I went first last time.
All right. I think it's Roki solely because of how good the Dodgers are. And I think he's got the added benefit of facing players for the first time where he can kind of rack up some early season stats just from guys being unfamiliar with this stuff.
How tempted were you to pick Matt Shaw?
Not very, actually.
Because of 2 games.
I'm a lot lower on Matt Shaw than I think most people. No, because a lot of it is the eye test. His batting stance is so unorthodox. It's so close. He's got this high step. Obviously, he's hit at every level so far, so he certainly could figure it out and be really good. But I just don't think his approach or his setup is consistent enough to produce for an entire year.
All right. I actually differed from you on this one as well. And I went chalk with Dylan Cruz. That guy's just, he's unreal.
He's in a good spot.
And Rookie of the Year, I feel I am completely contradicting myself because I used this justification for Jackson Jobe, but I feel like Rookie of the Year doesn't really depend on how good your team is. It's just strictly stat based. And I think Dylan Cruz is just going to have a hell of a year and completely earn that. I think Rookie's going to have a great year and finish second, but I don't know. I do also see, like I said before, the Dodgers just doing load management type stuff because they can. So maybe
do you have all the odds in front of you?
Maybe they rip Rookie. Yeah. Dylan Cruz at plus 310. Rocky's at plus 320.
Okay.
So Matt Shaw, by the way, is a close third at 410.
Yeah, I mean that's because he's an everyday player.
And I was also very close to picking Bubba Chandler, but I just don't know when they're going to actually call him up.
Yeah. All right, Cy Young.
All right, well,
lead us off with AL.
Yeah, so everything about me wants to pick Skubal, but I refuse to pick back-to-back. So I went with the other obvious choice, Garrett Crochet. Guy's an absolute stud. I think he's going to be the main reason that the Red Sox get where they get and should absolutely deserve the Cy Young.
Okay. I think you know where I am here.
Cole Ragans,
baby. I like. He's not really getting slept on like on the books necessarily, but just so you know, he finished 4th last year.
Mm-hmm. I know he's very good, by the way, and I do really like him. I hope you understand that. I'm just giving you shit.
Yes, I know. You're just giving me shit. However, like almost across the board in all like the big pitching metrics, he's actually better in 2023. So he's already shown that upside. The only thing is he had a split year between the bullpen and starting. That I was
going to ask if he was even up the whole year.
He was up most of the year, if not all of the year. It's tough to tell with games played. I didn't look that deep into it. However, like walk rate was lower, like Ks and all that stuff was pretty much the same spin, and he gave up like a lower expected batting, slug, ISO, all that stuff. So he has been a little bit better than he was last year, and that was good enough for a 4th place finish. I don't think Skubal, like 2 years in a row, he could win it, of course. But I'm with you. I didn't want to pick back to back. That seemed like a cop out.
I feel like they typically try to stay away from that too. Because like MVP, you have way more justification for doing it because it's like, like Shohei. That's one thing. But like
sometimes it's a slam dunk for MVP, whereas Cy Young is a lot more up in the air.
Cy Young normally is a very close race.
Also, I have the Royals getting to the playoffs. So just the little bit of team performance that weighs in there as well. I think he checks that box as well.
Yeah. All right, NL.
All right. NL, I'm not getting fancy with this. It's Paul Skeens.
I couldn't agree more, brother. However, I want to pick Zach Wheeler so bad because that guy he's pitched good enough seasons to probably have 3 of these awards, and he doesn't have a single one.
Yeah. It's kind of sad.
I was listening to Baseball is Dead earlier, and that was Jared's reasoning of picking Zach Wheeler, and I wanted to tail that, but I just couldn't. Like, Skeens probably should have won it last year, but he wasn't qualified to win it. He didn't pitch enough.
Yeah. He's adding pitches, and he's already the best pitcher in baseball by a lot of accounts.
And I also understand this guy is vastly older than everybody on this list, but the fact that Chris Sale is at plus 1,800 after just winning it last year is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
At which the plus 1,800 to the plus 2,200, there's 6 players within that. I could see any of those 6 winning it too, by the way. Like on the other side, I don't see that disparity. Like the NL just has so many just aces. It's crazy. I also don't think Blake Snell will ever win it because he doesn't pitch enough.
He doesn't pitch enough unless he's against the Reds.
All right, my MVPs, dude. Yeah, whatever. It happened. Get over it. My MVPs have a theme to him, but I'll let you start with MVP. Yeah.
Okay. AL, Gunnar Henderson.
Whoa.
Mostly because I think of how good Baltimore is in my ranks, not yours. Obviously, you have Boston ahead. I have Baltimore making it to the World Series, so obviously I think the world of them. I think their offense is scary good, so any help around him is there, both from protection and like from a traditional like RBI standpoint. He obviously hits a ton of home runs. He should be good like right away. I know he had an injury in spring training with the rib cage, but I expect him to hit the ground running. I think he's the best player on that team.
He's so good.
Yeah. So I'll take him to get the Orioles kind of over the hump and that riding him to a MVP.
Okay.
Who you got?
So because I said I have a theme, and I'm going to say the first person, and you're going to know exactly who I pick for the second one, I'm going to go back-to-back AL/NL. So I'm going to go full-on chalk for the AL MVP, Bobby Witt Jr. Meaning, actually, I'll glaze Bobby for a second. The guy is just unbelievable, man. Like,
yeah, he's so good.
He could very well win a batting title, a stolen base title, and a Gold Glove all at the same time. Like,
yeah, he's
guys, if your prediction of the Royals is correct, it's because of him and Cole Reagans, like you've already said. And I think he's 1A to Cole Reagans 1E. Like, it's got to be, like, Bobby Witt's got to be the reason they do anything this year.
Yeah.
And if it's not, then I'll be very surprised. Like, if there's some other reason besides those two that they make the playoffs, I'll be crazy surprised. But
yeah,
he's just so good. Everything he does is so fluid. Like, it looks easy to him. It's just crazy. I want to pick Gunnar. I really do. I feel like in today's day and age, I don't think I could ever pick Aaron Judge just because, like, he doesn't have that fielding and speed tool, but he is such a good hitter. Like, it's just absolutely, it's probably easy when you're 6'9" and it's shit brick house, but like, or brick shit house, however the phrase goes. I always forget. But
he's going to have to homer his way there if he's going to get it, in my opinion. He's going to have to hit 10 more.
But Witt could anybody else. Hit, maybe not in Kauffman, but he could challenge. I don't think he's going to, but I would assume it's a Judge and Vlad battle again, or Jordan.
I feel like Bobby Witt needs like 30 home runs to be in consideration because they're going to be like, oh yeah, that's a good power year, whatever. Whereas Aaron Judge, it feels like he's got to hit like 50 plus to even be to negate Bobby Witt's like fielding and stolen base upside and batting average upside, even though there's not that big of a disparity in batting average.
I'm curious too if Judge gets hurt by moving to right at all.
I doubt
just because it's less.
It's such an offensive award.
Well, you don't get but you also don't get as much. Like, center field gets props in WAR by most calculations. So,
yeah.
I have a very quick over/under question on odds. Like, do you think they should be better or worse? Mike Trout at 1,600.
It should be better. If he's healthy, the only way he qualifies is if he's healthy.
So how about this? He's tied with Jordan as far as odds go, and just below Vlad.
Realistically, Jordan's the better option there because Jordan has proven health. However, if you get to the end of the year and Mike Trout's played a full year, like, that's crazy value.
Yeah. Honestly, just the fact that if that happens could get him more votes. Just because the voters want that to happen.
Yeah. He's so good. People who think Mike Trout has fallen off are lunatics, in my opinion. Like, every time he's been on the field, he's been incredible. Since his half rookie season when he hit like $182 or something.
Yeah, and he's still just jacked and
ever since. Yeah.
Like, he looks the exact same. All right, flipping over to NL. I said that I had a theme, so I'm going to shock the world here and pick my boy Eddie De La Cruz for my MVP. I think, and this is actually a legitimate thing. Like, I do think that Shohei probably wins it, but I think when he gets into pitching, like when he's picking pitching back up, he's gonna stop stealing as much just to keep everything healthy. There's no way he's getting to 50 again or 40. I honestly forget whatever number it was, but that's like, these odds are also assuming that he's going to have his offensive season that he normally has, and that he's going to pitch very well. If he comes back and is just all right, I don't know, Jim. Like it obviously he's still pitching, so it's gonna help his case a lot. Like I see the world where Shohei wins this 93% of the time. But with how I stand on the Reds, with how I think it's gonna happen, I think Ellie catapults the Reds forward and rightfully deserves his spot as NL MVP.
So I'm with you on all the reasons why Shohei might not win it. I think Shohei's odds of winning it are far less than 93%, as you just mentioned, for all the same reasons. Like, I think they're going to try to keep him healthy.
The
like,
93
he's not chasing anything. I know you just said that off the whim.
Yeah, that's right. Shock
yes. However, I like just based on how you talked about it, I think there's a smaller chance that Shohei wins the MVP than you do, just based on your tone. So, for all the reasons you mentioned, but also the load management piece. Like, one, if he's pitching, there's probably going to be extra off days, right? If he's pitching, there's more focus on pitching and less on just like 100% hitting.
Yeah.
And then they're favored by 20 games. Like, you aren't going to run Shohei into the ground. You already know what he is. Like, I think he will struggle to get to the raw numbers that he needs, especially because he's going to be compared to Shohei of last year, regardless.
Yes.
So, like, all those factors, I think Shohei's almost like, I don't want to say a long shot to win it because obviously, like, he's kind of by default.
He's very much the favorite.
Day one, the favorite. However, I think that there's like a much broader chance that somebody else takes it.
Yeah.
That somebody else for me is Fernando Tatis.
Ooh.
I don't think we've seen the best of him yet. He's now that he's moved to the outfield, right field, like all that kind of thing, he's turned into like a phenomenal fielder. So he has that going for him. Obviously, he has all the home run. Yes. He has all the home run power that somebody like Shohei does. He has the base stealing upside there. He has the batting average upside. Like, there's not a real weakness in his game anymore. He used to be able to knock the fielding. But then he also has this like persona of he captivates the audience of whatever game, rightfully so or not, like for better or for worse. People love talking about him. And sometimes I feel like that gives you a little bit of an edge because how many times do we see at the end of the year this MVP race come down to like splitting hairs? That hair that might be split is like, he's a fucking blast to watch, whether you love him or you hate him.
Yeah.
And as long as the Padres can perform well enough in that division too, like think of all those rivalries, think of how many games like there's going to be an epicenter of like media attention for Dodgers and Padres. Like, if he performs well under those situations, as I expect him to do because he's that good at baseball, I think he can kind of have the little the sprinkle on top, the icing on the cake to get him over the edge.
So I have a question for you.
Okay.
Everything you said outside of his own team's market also describes Elly De La Cruz. So why are you picking Tatis over him?
Because I don't think the Reds are as good as you think they are.
You didn't put the Padres in the playoffs.
I agree, but I think the Padres win more games than the Reds.
See, all right. I mean,
and I think the Padres have an easier out in terms of poor team performance because they're in a league with the Dodgers or in a division with the Dodgers. Whereas if the Reds don't make it, it's not because of anybody else, but the Reds weren't that good.
So let's say they have equal stats. Do you think Tatis just takes it because he is a Padre and not a Red?
In the sense, equal stats, you don't mean team wins?
Like,
I'm assuming?
Their stats are at least
individual stats?
Like, Tatis probably won't have the stolen bases
I think
that Elly
Tatis
does.
has the edge if the Padres are better and their personal stats are similar.
Yeah. I don't know. I was saying this before, but legitimately, before we started this, I was watching MLB Network for the last 2 hours. Like, they're all crazy high on the Reds and Ellie winning MVP. Well, they're also
I'm sure they are. I mean, rightfully, like
they
I get
also
it.
all said, assuming there's a world that Shohei doesn't win this, who has the best chance? And I do think a lot of
I
them
get it.
picked Ellie because of the who has the best chance outside of Shohei, because it's like his ceiling is unseen yet. Like he still had a 6+ WAR season last year, and he hit like 260 with 29 errors. Like, defense matters for WAR, and that guy still had a 6+ WAR. Like, that's crazy. Yeah. And like,
I mean, he has the
think
park advantage.
To your
sure.
point on the TikTok, I think like he's definitely clearing the 52.5 stolen bases, but I think he could beat 67.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
so
I think he could do an Acuna 40-70. He just
potentially
needs to hit the home runs. Yeah,
I think Ellie can chase numbers more so than Tatis will. Just from like where the teams are at. Like Ellie is everything to the Reds. Similar to like Acuna when he stole a million bases, right? Like the first time you arrive as a player, you're like chasing excellence and you want all these accolades. And then after you get it, you settle down a little bit in terms of like,
you get the
I'm not going to steal a base when we're up 6 because it doesn't matter. Whereas like I could see Ellie essentially padding stats in some games as a I'm going to prove to you that I'm one of the best players in the game, and that's perfectly fine. Like I don't mean that like as a knock on him, even though it might seem like you getting stats you don't deserve. I don't. I
was going to fight you on it, but then I realized that's not what you meant.
Yeah, it's just like he has the green light in all aspects of his game, every single game of the year, because he's proving that A, he's one of the best players in baseball, and B, that the Reds are being slept on by like it's team and personal.
Yeah.
Whereas you look at Tatis and it's like, all right, like everyone knows who the Padres are already. Everyone knows who Fernando Tatis is already. It's like, can you outperform what you have before? So in that case, I think Ellie has
he can definitely outperform.
Yes,
just because there's so many stats where people are like, he's too bad at this. Like you've jokingly / seriously called him Ellie De La Strikeout. Like if he I don't know what it was last year. Let's call it 25%. If he can get that down to like 20%, that is massive, both for himself and the Reds. Like that would catapult his stats.
Especially when cutting down the strikeouts means you put the ball in play more or you're walking more.
Either way, even if you're getting out instead of striking out,
and
that's
then
fine.
You open up the speed game as well.
Yeah.
The thing is, I think Tatis has a better opportunity to like drive and runs and like power numbers that aren't just home runs because of the team around him. Whereas Ellie, I think the Reds are very reliant on Ellie, and therefore, if they don't do well, it's going to be because of Ellie. Whether it's a high strikeout rate to some degree, like yes, it could be the surrounding pieces, but like, how does Ellie get to the raw stats of like RBIs, for example, with not as talented? Like Luis Arraez, like might hit 350 this year, and Tatis has the opportunity to drive him in every time he steps up to the plate. Whereas in Ellie's case, that's not the case. Like TJ Friedl
if you were coach,
bad. Yeah, that's true. But you see my point of like, I think the opportunity is there a little bit, whether you agree or not. I know you know where I'm headed with this, at least.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I smell what you're stepping in.
So, all
right. Well, I think that this is a great time to end this. I'm insanely.
We almost got 2 hours.
Yeah, I'm insanely excited for tomorrow / today. If you're listening to this, I'm gonna just not even edit this, just put it out.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe listen for the fireworks and see if it's too bad and turn it down.
No,
but no, I think I speak for Jake when I say we're both very excited, especially excited to get the season started, to see how the format of this changes, and just to talk ball, put it on record. give each other
Yeah.
shit on our bad takes, and continue to hopefully grow this community and keep talking baseball and have fun doing it.
Let's do it. I'm also obviously pumped. It's Christmas Eve, as far as I'm concerned, right now. So we got baseball tomorrow / today. When you listen to this, it's going to be awesome. Long year ahead. So obviously, reach out if you have any like segment ideas or topics you want us to cover. Always looking to kind of engage the quackers out there. And we, frankly, like we have a loose idea here and there of like what we want this to look like mid-season, but there's still a lot of flexibility in that. So let us know. Ready to rock and roll this year, Matt.
I'm so ready, man. Who do you play tomorrow?
I don't even know.
Yes,
I do
you
know.
do.
I do know. Let me check though, because I can't remember off the top of
I know
my
you
head
played
because
10.
we already started. I know.
You played 10.
Yeah, we're in the West. We played like 26 games or something like that.
Diamondbacks. You're at Diamondbacks for 4.
Diamondbacks.
I didn't even have to look it up. You're a horrible fan. Take that jersey off.
Grow up, dude. I'm
Hey,
dug in not just to
my
my hometown team. I'm dug into the entire MLB landscape here. I've been working nonstop to make sure I can watch baseball.
I can't keep working
and
like this.
You got to wait on that timeout. It's not granted. And the Cubs have already started their year. Okay.
Yeah, and you're 0-2.
So this isn't opening day for the Cubs. I'm more worried about the rest of the league. I'm worried about what's happening here in Cincinnati because I'm a local. There's a lot going on. I don't need to remember that the Cubs are playing the Diamondbacks tomorrow because it's their third game of the year. It doesn't fucking matter. Timeout granted.
Well, now that you went on an 8-minute soapbox, I don't even remember what I was going to say. Oh, yeah.
Good.
Why aren't the Rockies and Rays playing tomorrow? They're starting on Friday.
Because they're
not because they're in a dome.
I was going to say
it's in Tampa, so that's
was the schedule out before?
I have no clue.
That might be why. It's either that. Well, it rains in Tampa all the time. So
yeah, I mean maybe it already got pushed back,
schedule.
I feel like
I would say I don't know, but the schedule had to come out early.
Yeah, you got to say what you say in meetings. I don't know, but I'll check in on that and get back to you.
We'll circle back on that one.
All right,
sure I add that to the recap.
I'm metaphorically hanging up on this. Thanks for listening, and welcome to the 2025 season, everybody. Let's go.
Let's do it.
See ya.